Hi, in this video I'm going to show you how to thread up the Britannia Instyle CS4000 cover stitch machine. Firstly, what we do, the door on the front moves across to the right hand side, you drop it down, it exposes the bits of thread underneath. We're going to do the looper first, which is the thread that comes over the top, through here and up through the needle plate. So get the first thread, pop it on, and then just pop your thread through the top of the carriage, through the hole, and that will go front to back. Grab your thread, and at the top of the machine here is your chrome catches, a little hook that will take your thread through, and then into your tension dial, and then through a hook here, you come down and through this hook here. Then what you would do, I'll grab my tweezers so you can see what I'm doing. Try and keep my hands out of the way. You come under this first hook here, so it's a bit of metal that points downwards, and then you go up over the top of the two bars that are pointing up. So you come under this one and then up over the top of this one and this one on the left. You come across the left hand side and then into this hook here. Again, just push your thread down and it should, there you go, go into the hook there. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to thread the looper that currently is sat underneath the needle plate. What we need to do is grab your balance wheel, your hand wheel, turn it towards you, and you'll see the looper come out to the right hand side. Now that's as far as it will come out at the moment. Your needles are fully down. Just at the bottom of the looper here, there's a little lever, and what we need to do, put your finger on it and push it upwards, and it will bring your looper even further to the right hand side so it's easy to thread. Then what you need to do, grab your thread, and from behind you'd come through this hole, but there's a little break at the top of the looper here which allows you to pop your thread through. And then, I always do this with tweezers, pop your thread through from front to back through the hole on the far left hand side of the looper. Grab your thread and pull it through. And then once that's threaded, what you can do is let go of that thread and just leave it in the door. It's not going to hurt it at all. Close your door, and then we're going to move on to the far left hand side to start threading our needles. I'm just going to bring the needles back up to the top position and grab our next thread. So we do the same thing again, onto the back there, and then through the hole at the top of the carriage, down through your chrome hook at the top, through the tension disc, and into this hook here. Then what you've got on this side of the casing, you've got a chrome piece with three individual splits in it, if you like, or it's like fingers sticking up. And each thread goes into each of those splits in the metal. So what we would do, we would pop it into the one furthest back, because we're on, basically, the first one you do will go to the back of those. You then come under the casing here, and again, over to the left-hand side, and you put your thread right at the back of those fingers that are stuck up. You then go, again, far left, because we're going to go far left on our tensions, far left on our thread. We'll go far left on the guides that bring you down. So you come into your guide and then round the back of this first hook. Next one, you do the same again. You come round the back of this metal plate here, this one here, and pull it across the left-hand side. Do exactly the same again, metal plate, and across the left-hand side. Then all you need to do, grab my scissors and just clean that up, because it's the end of my thread was a bit messy, and just thread your needle. I always use tweezers, so I just find it easier. Front to back, like a standard sewing machine or overlocker, and just leave your thread stuck out of the back of your needle there. Again, that will disappear when you just do your first test stitch. Next one would be your centre needle. So we're working from the left to the right now. So pop your next one on, you come up and over again through the carriage front to back into your metal hook at the top, down through your tension into your hook, and then you come across to the left again, and now we're going to go into that centre, we're going to call it a finger if you like. You go into that centre one on the right hand side underneath, and then into the centre one on the left hand side of the casing. Now if you're not using 3 needles, if you're only using 2 and you're using just the red and the blue tensions, you wouldn't thread this centre one, and you just go with your red and blue and then use the furthest width apart on both sides here, and you wouldn't use the centre piece. But at the moment we're doing 3 threads, so I'm going to pop it in the centre guide, behind the back of here, behind this metal plate, and across, and if you've got the machine, you'll see there's individual little forks here, and then again in behind this metal plate here. And then all we need to do, I'm going to grab my scissors, tidy up that end of the thread, and pop it through the centre needle front to back without dropping it. So that's through the centre one, grab it at the back and pull it through. So that's your first 2 needles done. Then we'll grab the thread for the last needle. So this will be on the right hand side of the needles. Pop through the carriage at the top, into the chrome hook at the back, over the top of the blue tension, into the hook there, and again across to the left, through the finger that's closest to you there, underneath the casing, and again same on this side. So it's like a comb with 3 slots in it. Onto the right hand side there and behind your guide, and then down behind this metal plate and across behind the next metal, it's a much smaller metal plate there, and just pull it across to left hand side and it will slot into place. There you go. And again, I need to just tidy up the end of my thread. And pop that thread through the needle front to back. If it was straight, it would be more helpful. Front to back there. And that's your cover stitch machine all threaded up, ready to go. So I'm just going to turn the machine on, if I can find it, on that right hand side. The light comes on. What you would do to start off with, first time after threading it, just pop a bit of scrap fabric through. I use a bit of denim just so you can see the contrast between the blue denim and the thread. And the threads are sticking out the needles at the back, and your looper thread hasn't come up through the needle plate yet. But what will happen is when you start to sew, it will pull your threads through your needles and your looper thread will connect from underneath. And what you'll see there, out the back, is those 3 threads that have come through the needles. Just move those out the way. And then underneath, there will be the looper thread there that's pulled through from bottom to the top. And basically, that's all done. 3 perfect stitches in a row there, ready to go with your cover stitch. Now, if you want to learn how to get your fabric out, I've done another video that's currently on YouTube that shows you how to remove your fabric after you've finished sewing.